You know, in my previous recent spars, I really haven't had any information on my opponents. I didn't know what to expect at all, but here's something new. See, I'm sparring my same sparring partner for the first time I've sparred at P-Town, Daniel. So let's see how it goes. We're just gonna go right into it.
Yeah, so what are we doing?
Shot placement. Yeah.
Alright.
I'm gonna focus on that, trying to actually land probably more than 40%. We'll see what the statistics say, but yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Alright y'all, here's my second spar with Daniel. We're gonna just start this out. Now, one of the things I learned from Pollock Boxing is I actually need to throw towards the chest more than the top of the head. Because if I throw to the top of the head, they could possibly duck and yeah, just whiff that whole punch. Now, I'm trying to use that frame, just keep that lead hand out there. And I'm expecting a rush, but I don't see it coming. So I'm kind of throwing lighter, and there's what I think is a rush. Now I put that hand or his head down with my hand, just kind of like a parry. Now I don't know if I meant to do that, but you know, this in the spar, my first instinct was to do that and pivot out. There's a double jab from me, and he's kind of walking me down into the corner. But luckily, I get like a collar tie kind of, and you know, it works in my favor. I mean, I don't know if that would be allowed, but yeah. So continuing on, I'm just throwing my jab. Now I'm reaching the ropes here, but overall there's less activity here, so I'm pretty much fine for now. Now I throw a 1-2 that actually lands, and Daniel is just still continuing to walk me down. Like, even though I land a shot, he just stays right there in the pocket. And well, not the pocket, but you know, instead of what I do where I just sprint away immediately if someone enters my space. But I land a couple jabs there. I'm actually just, you know, able to keep on going. Now I try and go for that body straight, but he's smart. He just is able to back up, and I try and land that 1-2 with the 3 to the body. I actually tried that twice. I don't even know why I did it like that, but hey, it didn't land. So now I tried parrying over the top with a cross, and it didn't land, and now he's rushing me. But luckily, I think I was able to block most of that onslaught, so I think I was fine for that moment. There's a jab. Now it goes to a cross to the body and a left hook to the head. Coach is actually just in my corner right now talking to me. Shout out to him. He's probably the reason why I'm getting so much better pretty fast.
See where his head ends up and throw his jab, alright? And then put your combination down.
How's the headgear?
Well, the owner of that guy is a good guy.
I heard.
Continuing on with round 2. Starts out, gain those positions. Now I'm throwing that, you know, this posting lead hand. You know, I'm not really throwing a jab with much intent until I want to, like that. But this is my main game plan here, at least for now. Now I'm employing a bit more of a pendulum than I usually do, and he's able to get away. He's anticipatory weaving. Now I don't know why that was so telegraphed, but I mean, at least that 1-2 after that landed. And here we go with this. Now that was a pretty solid counter, if I have to say so myself. Mainly I was just anticipating he was going to rush in, and I anticipated the timing well enough, and it landed. Now there's just a couple half-hearted jabs, but none of them are landing. Now there's a body cross with that frame. I think if I sunk it in a bit deeper it would have landed, but it didn't. I'm able to get that tie up again in that clinch, and I'm able to push him away, and he's able to back up. Now there's another 1-2 from me. Now slightly less activity in this spar. Now there's a couple left hooks and a right hook, quick barrage, but I don't think that much of it got through in that moment. Now there's a 1-2-1. Only that jab basically landed. Now that frame seems to be working, I'm gonna be honest, a lot better than my other spars. And I'm just able to get away because, you know, I have so much reach that I think it's kind of deceiving, and I just literally sprint away. Now I actually hit that dead spot in the ring, you know. There's a little divot in the middle, or not in the middle, there's just a line where the concrete seam is, and then I hit it and I tripped there. But, you know, we're about to end this round. I don't think anything else happens here, but yeah, no, that's the end. Alright, finally, we're going into round 3. So let's get it. Now, starting out with a jab. You know, just like the usual. Now, I know this is the last round, so I know something might come out here from him. So I'm wary of that. But I also, you know, I understood that I needed to actually try and throw some more. Just try and push the gas tank a little bit. Obviously, I'm not trying to throw hard, but yeah. So, just throwing the cross out. I don't know why I threw it naked like that, but I mean, it didn't land that hard. So there's a couple double jabs there. And you could see the shape, like a change in, you know, both of our body languages. Now that uppercut was super telegraphed, but yeah, it didn't land. I gotta work on just making sure I throw that quicker, because those body shots aren't gonna land if I, you know, throw them out like that. Like, that was a solid body shot, but it landed on the cup. So there's a couple jabs just from me, you know, like always trying to keep them occupied. I don't know what that combo was, but I don't know how much of it landed. Now there's a jab there. Just trying to keep him busy. And there's a left hook barrage. I'm able to defend. The 1-2 gets through. And I do a pull for no coherent reason at all. Now there's a double jab. And I'm just, you know, framing, posting with that lead hand. It's another jab. Just continuing to throw that jab out there. And he's moving pretty well laterally, which I gotta give him credit for. And there's a 2 1-2s. They make it through. Then here comes the 1-2 and a 1-2-1, but it doesn't really land that well. But that's the end of this spar, y'all. Alright, y'all, the glasses are out, so that means the Asian in me is coming out for the statistics. So as you can see, we have something kind of a bit more intuitive looking, you know, easier to see, easier to manage on the eyes. Here is just a simplified version of the stats. Now on the left side is my left hand, so as you can see, I threw no left hooks, but on the right side, I threw 3 left hooks to the head, and only 2 of them landed. But you could see just how dominant I am on my lead hand, which I think it should be. I threw 92 with the lead hand, and I had a 45.65% accuracy there. But something that's slightly different is that straight to the head from the left side has a 28 to 14%, which has a 50% accuracy, which is honestly a lot better than before, if I remember correctly. So it's really good to know that I'm able to land that cross more. But I'm gonna be honest, to the body, I had limited success. I mean, you could see some of them landed pretty well, like the left straight to the body. But then you got just other punches like uppercuts to the body, which have 0% on each side. But overall, I averaged on 46.15% on all of my punches. Now my sparring partner Daniel threw 51 punches this spar, a bit less than the last spar, but that's alright. On the left hand, he threw hooks to the head a lot more than straight. So on the left hand, which is his lead hand, he threw 24 hooks, which I'm gonna be honest, that's a lot of hooks. Now luckily, if you remember, I was able to nullify most of the hooks to the body because, you know, I just run away with my frame. And he was able to do the same thing without the frame. He was just able to get out of the way, and, you know, I wasn't hiding my body shots well enough to get through that. Now with his right hand, he was actually rather accurate with his straights to the head. They would get through my guard. But overall in this spar, I'm gonna be honest, I looked pretty good, I think. And, you know, he also looked pretty good. But overall, you know, even though I threw the lighter punches, I averaged about 3 times, actually a bit less than 3 times more than my sparring partner Daniel. But before I go, I just want to show y'all one more thing on my side. You know, I started out with a 34.69% of landing in the first round, which was horrendous. But then we went into a 48.78% and finally a 54.72% of landing. So overall, I got better with time with my accuracy, but so did Daniel, you know, he had a 23.53% in the first round, 33.33% in the second round, and a 36% accuracy in the third. So overall, I think we both improved, you know, I'm showing a lot more improvements with my clinching skill and getting away, and Daniel was still able to catch me with those nasty hooks. Anyway, overall, I think that's about it for me. That's not all that I have to say, but that is enough of what I have to say. I'm Kobe Gaza. I hope you subscribe. Please do. Helps me out a lot. And I hope you have a great day.